Let's get this shit rolling quick.
Oh, it's
I'm
rolling.
super hungry, and I need to poop.
Cut this. Cut it.
Fix this in
5,
editing, Dave.
4, 3.
And we're back. Welcome to week 3 preview. The big cat is wearing sunglasses to hide his pain, really. I hate everything. I obviously still hate Billy Mack. He's number 1 on my mortal enemy list. I did not forget about that .01 point loss in week 1. Hulk Hands, you're moving up. You're number 5 on my mortal enemy list. Number 5, and it's probably going to keep going up. All right. I did not appreciate losing to the top point scorer when I came in second. It's bullshit. Fantasy football is bullshit, and I hate everything. I'm wearing these sunglasses really just to hide the tears. I'm crying. Got a Bobby D size ripper in. May fall asleep a little bit later. I don't know. But yeah, fantasy football is off to a real fucking shit show of a start. So we're here to break it down for you. That was my introduction to what has been not a very good season for the Big Cat, but some highs, some lows. Week 2, riddled with injuries. Big Cat was not immune to it again, but we'll get into all these breakdowns. So we got a nice little show for you here. We're going to break down the week 2 matchups. Then we're going to do some buy or sells with the shitty teams like mine. Finish it up with some week 3 previews and a little gambling corner since Smitty is hot over there. He's so hot, he could – I forgot the line.
Take a dump in tinfoil and put some hooks on it and call it earrings and sell it to Queen Elizabeth.
There it is.
There you have
All
it.
right, so let's kick this off here with Mikey breaking down the first 2 games of last week.
I mean, you got your money's worth in entertainment value from the opening round, so I'm going to try to keep this relatively short. Starting with Darius Sanders' win over the Sin City Mac Attacks, 203.8 to 165.4. This was a big injury game, but it wasn't all that close. Dave was more efficient with his starting lineup, and he led kind of wire to wire Sunday through Monday. He had big days from Matty Ice, Christian McCaffrey before the injury, and Miles Sanders paid off in his debut with a nice week. Got some dud performances at the wide receiver position, notably Fuller with a goose egg, Sanders failing to step up in Mike Thomas's absence, and Austin Hooper looking like a total bust. Lockett did all right, but whatever. No standout at defense, but steady. Sin City Mac Attack left a lot of points on the bench. It was kind of hard to watch. Not playing Josh Allen, as the Big Cat can explain to you later, is an error. Even though Aaron Rodgers had a really nice day, he was just overshadowed by a huge day for Josh Allen. Losing Sutton for the season, literally and figuratively hurt, but he found Darren Waller. We'll see. He rolled out a stable of dud running backs. Nobody really performed adequately, and that certainly cost him. Miles Jack outperformed Shaq Thompson on his bench. He didn't get a lot else from his bench, so they're not obvious reinforcements sitting there to replace Sutton and the other points that he didn't get. So we'll see how these franchises fare with Christian McCaffrey being out and Sutton lost for the year, but a solid win for Darius Sanders. Moving over to the game of the week, Hulk Hands already, the previously acknowledged ass raping of Kenya Diggs at 280.9 top score for the week. It's at 253.7. And awesome showing for the Big Cat, just a terrible draw. It was a close game all weekend, clash of the Titans, clearly. Hulk Hands, massive days from Kamara. His wide receiver depth shined with big performances from Hill and Hopkins and Deontay Johnson. Big points at the defensive positions. All the IDPs really popped except for Flowers, who did nothing. And, he overcame the tragedy of James White and James White's family and still pulled off a win. I mean, imagine if he had started DK Metcalf instead. Hines crashed back to earth, but who cares? Kenya Diggs had got great days out of Kyler Murray, his namesake, Moore, Cooper, Jacobs, Cunningham all had great days. But when you're facing, the madness that was Hulk Hands this past week, he only got 30-plus point games from Murray, Diggs, and Cunningham, and that's kind of where he got killed. He would have beaten damn near anybody else. The only real glaring error was trying to play a former quarterback from Virginia Tech at tight end instead of Gesicki, who I still don't believe in, but apparently is everyone's darling, including the quarterbacks in Miami. So whatever. The Bosa injury is obviously a problem for Diggs, but I have faith that he can find a solution on the waiver wire for that IDP position. So, a real bad beat. It was terribly entertaining to see your reaction to it, both through the weekend texts and with today's rant. But it isn't going to last. He still has an elite roster and a performance. So just ran us all week. Yeah.
All right. So, another mini rant. Like the fantasy football sites. Like I don't spend all week setting up my lineup. I see who's tops on my list and I put them in, and they've been completely wrong for the first 2 weeks.
Well, you're paying the wrong people.
I know. I was looking.
The wrong people.
I invited them into my office. Why? Because they're fucking fired. That's why. So week 2, hooked on a Thielen. I mean, I feel bad since he's, in the room, but Mike Smith's team is terrible.
Really?
It's really bad. But let's break it down real quick. Russ Wilson, Travis Kelce, really good players. His next best player appears to be James Robinson, who I'm still not really sure who that is. I think you traded into the 28th round to get him, and it was a good move, so I can't fault you for that one. He beats Blackleg Craig, whose best player is out. Beyond that, he got a nice week from Leonard Fournette. I don't think that's going to carry on. And then he's got a whole bunch of poop on his roster. So it's not looking too good for the Blackleg moving forward. But he's a tough guy, and I think he'll probably find a way to get through it. My next game is DJ Booga Sugar with a 2.2 win over the Traz brothers. I've been feeling like this for like 2 years now. Like Team Traz should be one of the top teams, but he just fucking loses every week. He loses games like this. It happens all the time. His roster is solid. He's got solid running backs. Tom Brady drastically underperformed this week. He's starting Carlos Hyde. I don't really like that, but he's got some good players on the bench. I don't know why CeeDee Lamb isn't in the lineup. So he's got Myles Garrett on the bench. Not the best performance there, but he lost a heartbreaker, but only had 71% efficiency. So going forward, we'll talk more about Traz in a few minutes. All right, next games.
On to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, going to have to disagree with Big Cat on the Fournette thing. I think it's the Fournette show going forward. Ronald Jones lost the job last week. There you go.
Yeah, I just don't think he's that good anymore. But he did have that nice breakout run.
Hey, it's not like he's like 35 years old, dude. He's like 26 or something. Like he's got gas in the tank. He looked good last
There's
week.
tread on those tires.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's just like he was stuck on Jacksonville. They fucking suck, dude. And he's the wrong running back for Jacksonville. I think the guy Mike has, whatever his name is, still can't remember it. He's
Jimmy Robinson.
Yeah, Jimmy. Well, Jimmy. Hey, man, isn't that Jimmy's cousin over there? Yeah, the singer, right?
These eyes are crying. These eyes have... I don't know the words.
Stop this now.
Wah, wah.
And cut.
All right, so we're back to back nines matter. Taking down the Beaver Tamers, 188.8 for busing versus 183.4. So pretty close, but neither one with a very high scoring week. This was a pretty poorly efficiently managed game by both teams, 76% by busing. And 70.1% for Dominic. So, really this came down to a couple of bad decisions by Dom. I'm not afraid to say it. He benched James Conner. After 1 week, he decided that Conner was no longer a viable football player. He missed out on 16 carries for 106 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches for 15 yards. That's 24.1 points. Pretty bad. Looks to me like he probably, like Ruggs was the guy that he put in instead of Connor. Ruggs had 2 points on Monday night. So he also had Jonnu on the bench, Jonnu Smith, 4 for 84, 2 touchdowns, 24.4 points. Harder to fault him for that. I don't think that's, that was just kind of the nature of the beast. But the Connor benching, I don't understand. So Dominic, pretty much snatched defeat from the jaws of victory with that decision. So Bussing really avoided the big air. He didn't have any starting issues that I had a problem with, but it was just kind of a lackluster week. But nice job, Bussing. Tallest midget. My next game was the Lord of the Slum, who showed out with 243.1 points, taking down Bill Cosby Sleepers at a respectable 209.2. Cosby was 81.5% efficient on his starting lineup. His big problem was David Montgomery on the bench. He had 82 yards rushing, 3 catches for 45 and a touch. So that was 27.7 points on the bench. Tyler Higbee was on his bench. He started Goddard and Hawkinson, so I don't have a huge problem with not starting Higbee, but it ended up costing him 28.4 points. That was 5 catches for 54 yards and 3 touchdowns against the shitbag Eagles. So a couple of tough spots there. And over on the Lord of the Slum, 94.2 efficient. So really, really good job by Mikey putting out his best lineup there. And really what pushed Mikey up to the top level and what pushed him over the line was a really, really good performance by his defensive players. And he was led by Antoine Winfield Jr. out of Tampa Bay. 8 tackles, 3 assists, a forced fumble, and a sack for 27
Jesus
points.
Christ.
What a fucking game for a rookie, right? And on the other side, on Cosby's side, Andrew's defense let him down. They scored 33 total points across his 5 defensive starters. Mikey got 27 points out of 1 guy. So there's your difference right there. So Cosby, nice week, but Lord of the Slum, good job getting the money. Nice job, Michael. That's my game breakdowns. What's next up?
Buy or sell.
Buy or
Only
sell.
2 teams.
Hit the panic button.
Insert graphic now.
Light the
Buy
fire.
or sell.
Come on, all right, everybody. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We've made a great effort so far. Let's just keep it up.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've come too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to keep our composure.
All right, so Derek, you're going to lead us off. You're going to talk about the Traz boys. Talk to me, man. What do we got here?
So I am buying Team Traz. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, his team is good. I think he had some starting issues last week. Those borderline, starters or sit, they're always tough, and you always seem to get those wrong. But not starting Myles Garrett against a bad offensive line on Thursday nights against a rookie quarterback. He only had 1 play but scored 14 points. I do have some concerns about Myles' point scoring this year because he's the only good player on their defense. So they're going to double and triple that guy all day long. And you've seen that through the first 2 weeks for the Browns because other guys, Sheldon Richardson, their rookie defensive end, had thrown up some big numbers. But I'm buying. I love his running backs. His wide receivers are serviceable. T.Y. Hilton hopefully starts playing like T.Y. Hilton now that other guy, Paris Campbell, is hurt for pretty much the year. His defense is strong. He needs some safety help. None of his defensive backs. Joe Hayden, that was a miracle point-scoring performance. I think he had an interception there. He's just not going to score any points. He's a bad cornerback. I didn't even know he still played, quite honestly, until I saw that interception last week.
Yeah, man, they gave him a uniform and everything.
Well, he'll get a lot of targets, though, because there are no other weaknesses on that. I mean, nobody else that bad on that defense. He's going to be the guy people throw at. But.
Yeah. So he's going to have to score with pass deflections, and I just don't think he's going to deflect a lot of passes.
Maybe
he'll let him go right over his head.
Yeah.
Does that help?
I've seen that many a time. So I'm buying Team Traz. Who's next?
Dave?
I'm going to jump in on this one. I am wholeheartedly selling Team Traz. Just for the record.
Little family on family violence there.
Yeah, well, I'm feeling that after waivers this week too. But, I mean, I look at this roster. I see Cook. I see Chubb. I see nothing else. They got the second lowest points through 2 weeks. They're last in the website power rankings. Their all-play record is 4-18. Sorry, boys, your team sucks balls. Better do something. I'm out.
Call the big cat. I got some trades lined up.
Call the big cat. He'll be willing to rake you over the coals.
Like, I own all 8 locations. All right, I'm not going to rake you over the coals or anything.
There we go. Mike, anything to say about the Traz boys?
Nothing good. So I'm going to keep it to myself.
Dynamite drop in, Monty.
All right. Who's up next? Me?
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Beaver Tamers. So Dominic, as I mentioned before, this week he snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. I'm actually going to buy Dominic. I am buying the Beaver Tamers to have some bounce back and to maybe insert themselves into the playoff picture here. Their quarterback situation is not great, but he does have Justin Herbert down on the taxi squad, who, I mean, looked pretty good last week after that whole thing where they punctured Tyrod Taylor. Can you believe that? He punctured his
That
foot.
had to be intentional.
Dude,
That's
that
fucked
is
up.
messed up. Anyway,
Super messed up.
his running backs, he's got James Conner. The Jonathan Taylor thing is looking to work out great now, right? Because he's definitely the lead guy there. And, he needs Zach Moss in Buffalo to, take a bigger role. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if that happens, then he's really cooking with something. Big Cat's shaking his head. I disagree. Wide receiver is a strong point on this team. He's got Julio, he's got Juju, he's got Keenan Allen. I think Randall Cobb is actually a very good little slot play down in Houston. He's got plenty of run over the last couple of weeks, and Henry Ruggs has that upside. He let him down last week, but he's a pretty good rookie wide receiver. His tight end situation is also pretty good. I wrote all these guys down by their last names, and it sounds like a fucking wrestler. Henry Hurst Smith. So, but Hunter Henry, Hayden Hurst, and Jonnu Smith, he could start 2 or 3 of those guys every week. The D is very good too. His defense is good. So I'm buying Dom. I think Dom's going to have some bounce back, and I think he's going to be a guy you're not going to want to face. So I'll pick him up and buy him. Mike?
I am on board with that. I trust that Dominic will start getting his shit together, make better starting decisions, see a little bit of productivity out of Connor at a consistent rate, and he'll be fine. And I think he's sitting on Snell on his taxi squad if Connor –
he does.
When Connor goes down, then Snell will be the guy. So, he's got that backfield locked up. That should be a team that's not giving up a ton of points defensively. They're less likely to be in shootouts. I'd like to have a piece of that backfield if I could. So, yeah, I'm buying on Dom.
Yeah.
I've watched all the plays of the Bills for the first 2 weeks, and Zach Moss is probably one of the bigger disappointments, really one of the only disappointments on that team. They just keep giving them the ball. I guess they're trying to save Singletary for the long term, but that guy, I think he had 9 attempts for 11 yards in the first week. I'm just not sure why he's on the field. So that's my Buffalo Bills insight for you.
Yeah, it's Bills insider Derek Gabrielson.
All right, Mike, you get to talk about me now.
All right, I will. And I'm buying, of course. This is a silly conversation, although it is kind of gratifying to see the self-proclaimed winner of the draft in this conversation. But he's the self-proclaimed winner of the draft for good reason. It is far too early to start throwing dirt on this grave. The roster is completely stacked. Billy Mack rose up and bit him in the ass again in week 1 by the narrowest possible margin in the entire league. And then he ran into the buzzsaw in week 2. This is a franchise that still sits as the number 3 total point scoring franchise for the league. I don't think he has real problems. He's got an unbelievable wide receiver core, and that's before you even acknowledge that Michael Thomas is coming back before too long.
And Kenny Galladay. Don't forget Kenny Galladay.
Oh my God, yeah, Kenny Galladay hasn't played a snap for him either. Nope. So the dude's already posting huge points, and he's got massive points sitting in reserves. So, perhaps you could look at the running backs and not be super excited, but with the wide receiver depth, I suppose there may be a deal to be had. I suppose with so many, because otherwise the big challenge I think for Derek is getting the start-sit decisions right, because he's going to be sitting multiple players that basically every other franchise would salivate over starting. And so, do you pick correctly and do some transactions, maybe build a little bit of running back depth? If you trust Gesicki, I think you're fine at tight end. The fact that you have 3 other tight ends on the roster betrays the fact that you're still searching at tight end a little bit. Maybe you can flip one of those wide receivers for that. But I don't think you need to. I think the roster speaks for itself. I would buy every piece of Diggs that I could get my hands on if it were for sale, but I know it's not. So anybody else?
Everyone's for sale.
Yeah, same thing for me.
Right price.
Yeah, this is a good team. I'm not worried about Derek. So
I'm buying a Diggs jersey,
that
really
should help
just
me.
because of Mike's preseason comments, disparaging my name, dragging me through the mud, calling me an idiot to everyone in
I
the
didn't
league.
think he would have this kind of success. This is really it's got to be gratifying for a Bills fan to see this
Well,
kind of success.
it's not about Diggs as much. It's about Josh Allen. Josh Allen's been good. Do you know that
He's been a lot better.
is
Yeah, his accuracy this
70%?
year is way better.
His completion percentage so far this year is 70%.
Yeah.
He's a career 56% passer. So I mean, it's right there. Like the concern was never is Diggs good. It was always can Josh Allen hit him. And now that Josh Allen hits him, now you got something. So
But I mean, it's not like he's relying on Diggs to carry this team. He's relying on the other 8 elite wide receivers around Diggs to also. I mean, it's just a stacked lineup. So
yeah.
Okay.
All right, week 3 preview. Dave is up first with Bill Cosby at Mortal Enemy #1, Sin City Sitcoms.
So
no. Sin City Mac Attack.
Sin City Mac Attack.
Oh,
better
name change.
Better change it better change it on your murder list, Eric.
Your people to kill list needs to be updated.
Billy Mack, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Glenn, Hulk hands. That's the top 5 right now. I'll update those power rankings every week.
Perfect.
I forgot Ben Roethlisberger.
You're like Arya Stark, man. All right, so we got the sleepers at Mac Attack. So
that was a good reference. I enjoyed that.
Bringing it back. R.I.P. Game of Thrones. Wish you would have finished it off a little bit better. So we got Andrew and the sleepers at Mac Attack. Quarterback wise, I like both starters, Josh Allen over for Billy and Dak Prescott. Looking at Andrew's lineup, and I know that it's the computer generated starting lineup, they have Michael Gallup in. I think this is a week where he can either play James Washington or TJ Hawkinson in place of Gallup. I just haven't been that impressed with Gallup. But aside from that, I like the rest of Andrew's starters. I think he's got a pretty good team going this week. He's got good matchups. Aaron Jones is flaming hot fire. So some pretty good stuff there. Over on Billy's side, A.J. Brown is probably not going to go this week. So, that's a bit of a problem. Cortland Sutton, he just lost this week. So, looking at his depth, he's going to start to have some pretty bad depth problems. He's got Ronald Jones in the lineup right now. I know that's a computer-generated thing again, but he might actually have to play him after losing Brown and Sutton. His only other real options, he could play Ebron. Michael Pittman out of Indianapolis could get a little more run. Adam Humphries from Tennessee is getting some action. I mean, I don't know if you want to go Sony Michel. Not me. So I just think Billy he's got depth problems, and I don't think he's going to be able to get it done. So for me this week, I have Derek. You'll be happy to hear. I have your brother avenging your horrific loss and slaying your mortal enemy, Billy Mack. I have Cosby taking this one down. I have Sin City dropping this one. The other game I'm gonna take a look at is a bit of a clash of the Titans, and it's one of those games where it should have been bigger than it is, but it's my co-hosts here. Can you digs it at Hooked on a Thielen? So the big cat is again rolling out a good strong lineup, and Hooked on a Thielen is doing the same thing. This one, it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna come down to what do you get out of Singletary? Over on the dig side, just running it down real quick. Josh Jacobs has been a stud. I'm a little concerned against that kind of stuffed up Patriots defense, but he should be fine. Singletary, I don't know. The wide receiver action is great. Beckham, Cooper, Diggs, Galladay if he goes, which it looks like he will this week, and DJ Moore, who's been off to a pretty good start. Gesicki in at tight end, and the defense looks pretty tight. So, all in all, that's a very good starting lineup. Tremaine Edmonds on the defensive side at linebacker is going to be a big piece for Diggs. If he goes, I think that's a great start. But if he doesn't, he's a little bit in the barrel on these defensive players. Probably goes with Marcus May of the Jets, or possibly Terrell Edmonds, safety from Pittsburgh. Hooked on a Thielen, Russell Wilson, always a great start. Mike Davis, fuck him. Melvin Gordon, Mark
$29 man.
And then $29 man.
Should I change my team name? $29 for Davis?
You're going to be like paying $1 a point for that guy.
All season.
So, pretty good starting guys, I mean, like, that's not bad. I mean, Ingram, I don't know exactly how that's going to be used, I mean, like week 1, you saw one thing, week 2, you saw a completely different thing. He's probably going to just end up being touchdown dependent. Edelman, career week last week. Devontae Parker's been kind of underwhelming, and Thielen. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings fucking suck. Kirk Cousins is horrifically bad. Negative point scorer, Kirk Cousins last week. I want it documented. Yay. Derek, mark that on the Jedi log if you could.
It is so marked.
So, I think I got Diggs on this one. I got Derek getting off the schneid. I think hooked on the Thielen has just been living on borrowed time a little bit with some of these shitty starts that he has. And I feel like the big cat's going to bounce back and get to 1 and 2 here. So that's the way that I see it in those 2 games, boys. So I'm going to move it on to Mikey, who's going to cover first the Beaver Tamers at the DJ Booga Sugar boys.
No, just for the record, I'm going to go with Andrew and Bill Cosby in the Sin City matchup, and I am also going to take Diggs in my matchup. And Derek, why don't you jump in real quick on those 2? And
I'll take Andrew and I'll take Mike. I don't think I'm going to win this week either. I think it's going to be
contrarian crap. Like it's just such a pathetic cop out for the 2 of us. We suck.
It's going to be close, and I'm going to lose on the defense.
Who the fuck invited Negative Nancy?
Yeah, come on, man. Jesus. All right, let's see. Beaver Tamers versus the DJ. We got 2 of the lower season point total teams matched up. Beaver Tamers, he's got this grab bag of like viable but not stunning quarterbacks. Where is he going to go with that? I don't know. How long is Herbert going to sit on the bench before he moves in as a homer starter at quarterback? We shall see. Nice matchups by and large. I mean, I think Taylor versus the Jets and Julio versus the Bears might be kind of marginally tough, but overall I like his elite players matchups. We'll see if Zach Moss starts to get it together this week against the Rams or not. Who knows? But Keenan Allen, Julio, Juju, all the guys that Dave talked about in the buy sell segment, like I like them. I think Beaver Tamers are going to be fine this week. For DJ, peligro, I think is the term. Deshaun Watson is playing the Steelers this week. You might want to consider starting Cam against the Raiders, but you make your own decisions. Got bad matchups here in a lot of key spots. CEH is going against Baltimore's defense. Will he have a lot of touches? Probably. Big game? Maybe. I don't know. I never like starting a running back against Baltimore if I don't have to. But, of course, that's offset by Kenyon Drake playing the Detroit toothless defensive Lions. And so should be fine. We'll see if Jerry Jeudy is capable of being a wide receiver 1 catching balls from Jeff Driscoll. I have my doubts. I have him benched in the league where I own him, but we shall see. And, Noah Fant, same type of deal, right? I mean, I think Fant is a really good player if he's catching balls from a competent quarterback. Is Driscoll that guy? I just don't see it. And then, DJ's got elite defensive players. There's Chase Young, Darius Leonard, like Pop. We'll see. I got Beaver Tamers in this one. You guys want to pick this game now before I move on to Blackleg Craig versus Hulk Hands? Go.
I'll pick it. Go ahead, Derek.
I will take is Zach Moss really in the starting lineup?
For now. I mean, he's got options, right? There's a little bit of trash on the bench he could replace him with. So.
These are probably the computer-generated lineups, would be my guess.
Oh, you know what? Actually, the other thing I would
Dominic
mention is DJ's got Devonta Freeman. And will he, put him in the lineup and see what he gets in his first week as a Giant? Or is he going to have a ramp-up period and all that kind of stuff? So, that is a tricky decision that they're going to work through.
I'm going to take DJ Booga Sugar, contrarian play on the strength of his defense.
Yeah, nice. I'm with you there, Derek. I have DJ. I don't think Jack Doyle's going to go, so he's going to have to pull him out. But yeah, I like Deshaun Jackson this week against the Bagels.
Yeah,
I like that as a start. And then, like Derek said, I mean, Devonta Freeman could go in. It could be like a speculative to start, especially
Just a quick check. Did you say Deshaun Watson against the Bengals?
No, Deshaun Jackson against the
Jackson.
Bengals. Deshaun
Very
Watson,
well.
I agree with
Against
you,
Bengals.
should probably be pulled, and I think Cam is probably a safer start there.
Check your hearing aid, old man. Sorry about that. All right.
Up with
be it.
Robbie Anderson
Blackleg
blowing up this
Craig.
year.
I don't know.
Yeah. Who saw that coming? Blackleg Craig and Hulk Hands. Now, this is actually a pretty nice matchup, although I got Hulk Hands winning it in a runaway because that's what he's done in the first 2 weeks, and I see no reason it's going to stop. Season-long points 1v6 matchup, and I think all of us liked Blackleg Craig's roster going into the season. He starts life after Saquon. It looks a little bleak. I have the same doubts about Fournette. We're going to start to see over the next week or two, kind of whether Fournette and Gibson's roles crystallize on their respective teams. I like both of those players if they get the right kind of utilization, but I don't know what it's going to look like for either of those players this week. Cam Akers looks like the dud of the draft so far. I hate his guts because I have him in another league where he's doing absolutely nothing and he's soft and a pansy. But, if he recovers and plays like everybody expected him to in that offense, he could be okay, but I don't think it's going to happen this week. No Sterling Shepard. Does that boat rise for Slayton? I don't know. He's got some nice matchups, but I just don't think he's got enough in the tank here to take on the team that has looked, unbelievable through 2 weeks in Hulk hands. He's all in on wide receivers. He's got Kamara in the starting lineup, which of course you would. I don't know how he's going to do against the Packers D, but I think that game's going to shoot out. So Kamara will get his. Tons of good wide receivers in the starting lineup, just hoping that they all pop. He doesn't have a ton on the bench to swap people out if there are any kind of, last second changes necessary, but I'm not overly concerned. For Hulk hands, I'll just remind him that through 2 weeks last year, Team Traz and Beaver Tamers looked like the untouchable franchises, and both of those teams played for the consolation prize last year. So I got this going to Hulk hands. I love the lineup, and I don't see it the music ending for him just yet. So we're going to go Hulk hands here.
Yep.
I really. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I was just gonna say I'm with you. I think this is Hulk hands all the way. Craig starting Larry Fitzgerald, so that should tell you what you need to know.
I wanted to take Blackleg in the upset special because I think Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews are going to blow up. But Hulk hands starting lineup is just too good.
Mm-hmm.
Afraid so. Last of the previews.
Last of the previews will be the Big Cat looking at the Traz brothers versus Back Nines Mattered. And even though I just spent like 5 minutes pumping up Team Traz, I'm going to have to take Back Nine Matters in this matchup, really based on the matchups. I really like Austin Eckler this week. Malcolm Brown is kind of going to be a boomer or bust. I really like DJ Chark tonight. I like Terry McLaurin a lot. Is Kittle playing?
He practiced yesterday.
Say yes.
But he's still highly questionable. And, you know how the 49ers feel like that turf at MetLife has been a problem. So there's a thought that they may hold Kittle out this week, even if he could go, because they don't trust that turf.
All right. I'm going to change my vote then. I'm going to take the Traz brothers. Mid-change. And here's why, because I like Tom Brady a lot this week. And, his starting lineup, he's got Chubb, Cook, Boyd, Hilton, we talked about, CeeDee Lamb, Robert Woods, Evan Ingram. He's got solid defense coming back. I'm going to take the Traz brothers. I'm going to say 220 to 202.
Mm-hmm. Scores and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with you, Derek. I'm over on the Traz boys this week. Even if Kittle goes, I don't know what that usage is going to look like. And but I could see both teams being relatively high scoring. I actually like the running backs, the running backs that Bussing throws out there, with the exception of Malcolm Brown, who
I don't know if he's going to go this week.
I think he's highly questionable this week, right? Because I guess he had surgery on that broken finger.
Yeah, he did. But even if he goes, he's going against Buffalo. Yeah, he's going against Buffalo with a bandaged hand. No thanks.
Yeah. So, why don't you throw Mecole Hardman in there or something? I don't know. So anyway, I'm on.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's nothing obvious on the bench that gets him a bunch of points there. This one's tough to pick. I'm going to go with Bussing on this one. Even without Kittle, I think he can get it done with the. I like his. I don't know. Actually, I hate his matchup with David Johnson too. So
yeah,
screw it. He'll pull a rabbit out of the hat. I'm going to give it to Bussing.
My brain says Traz, but my heart says Bussing. Is that what you're saying, Mike?
That it's the story of my life, really.
All right.
All right, Derek. What have you got for us in the last one of the week?
It's the game of the week.
So game of the week. This actually is a good game of the week because I think Mikey Goldberg. I like his roster. I like what he's got going on.
He came out on fire in year 2. I love it.
I mean, Kareem Hunt is a guy I wanted on my teams and couldn't get him. Zeke is a stud. Carson's a stud. Obviously, Mahomes is going to light it up. They're going to have to score points in that game. His defense is solid. It's better than solid. It's really good. Although I don't really like starting cornerbacks, so he might want to look at a different defender there. Darius Sanders is without Darius Sanders for the first week. Even though Darius Sanders is 2-0 in this bullshit fantasy football game that we play, it doesn't matter. He's still 2-0 when super smart, handsome guys like myself are 0-2. It doesn't seem fair, is what I'm saying.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
So in summary, I'm awesome, and this sucks. But you know, the Smith brother fascination with Will Fuller, I just don't see it. He's not going to score any points this week. I'm just going to come out and say it. Robinson is having a tough time in Chicago. Jordan Reed, like, are you kidding me? Like, Smitty's loved Jordan Reed for the last decade.
That motherfucker had 2 touchdowns last week.
Mm-hmm. I've got $5 he has a concussion this week. And it brings me
to
joy.
Get 2 more touchdowns before the concussion.
As long as he scores.
If Kittle doesn't go, man, I like that start.
DeMarcus Lawrence is a bad start. Minkah Fitzpatrick is not going to score fantasy points. So I'm going to go Lord of the Slum in an upset, mainly because I like Mikey much better than Dave.
You're an upset. I'm upset with you. Mike, anything to add?
Nope.
No. Hard-hitting analysis.
Well, fuck you guys.
I've done enough talking. I'm going to pick against you out of spite also.
All right. Well, fuck you guys. I'm going to pick myself, and here's why. Hunt does not have a good matchup against a pretty good front 7 in Washington. Mahomes does not have a good matchup against the Ravens defense, who is quite good. You know, you're starting Willie fucking Snead and Golden Tate. That's not great. Jarvis Landry against a good defense, not good. I think that the Browns are a team that beats up on bad teams and gets their shit pumped by good ones. Good defenses, especially.
You're suggesting that Washington is good.
I think Washington's defense is good. I think their offense sucks balls, but I think their defense is actually good. On my side, you know, Matt Ryan is going to tear up the Bears. Myles Gaskin. All right, never mind. I'm going to lose. All right, so it's a loss.
Myles Gaskin. Who the fuck is this guy?
Myles Gaskin.
All right, if you're hanging your hat on Gaskin, you got to.
No, you know what? I'm picking myself. It's a bad pick, but I'm doing it. I think I'm going to win. Myles Gaskin, dude. I mean, he's scoring more points than some of these donkeys that you guys are running out there. So don't talk fucking shit to me. 0-2 up there, okay?
I'm waiting for Gaskin to die so that.
Jordan Howard is the worst player.
Jordan Howard is the worst player in the league. He has been for 100 years. I hate that guy. I hope he dies.
Terrible. Let's talk about something that we're good at.
Let's gamble.
Gambling. Big Cat, any picks this week?
Yep, the Big Cat's coming at you. When he throws out NFL picks, you can pretty much take him to the bank. So I want everyone to actually go to the bank, extend that HELOC, you know, 25, 50 grand, whatever you got to do. All right, and you're going to take, where did it go? Green Bay +3 at New Orleans. And here's why. Drew Brees
stinks.
He can't throw the ball over 10 yards. Like, I watched some of that game.
It's the Dun chain.
didn't
Are we
look
hanging? Are we hanging the Dun chain on Drew Brees?
Yep, we're gonna have to take him out to the glue factory so he can spend his time protesting. He's just not that good. Obviously, they got a lot of weapons to make up for it, but he's not the Drew Brees of old. Green Bay, like, how is Green Bay getting points? They've just done nothing but fucking destroy everything they've seen so far. So I'm taking Green Bay +3. You can take that one to the bank. And where did my other one go here?
Derek, I think you go ahead and sprinkle that money line too, right? I think Green Bay wins outright.
Yep.
Hit that fucking money line.
We'll take the money line too.
Oh, there he is.
And then I'm going to also go ahead and take the New York Football Jets +2.5 at home against Denver. Denver, they got nothing going for them. Who's their quarterback now?
Jeff Driscoll. You're a friend of mine.
Could be Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles.
Oh, the big bad Blake. He's good for the
Have you seen that interview with Blake Bortles with that hot chick?
Yeah, that's his wife, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
She's smoking hot. He was like, what would you do if you didn't play football? You're like, I don't know. Probably work construction, rip some cigs.
She's like, what do you do when you first get up in the morning? And he's like, usually take a piss.
He is not a smart man, but he's entertaining. So out of nowhere,
you're betting on the fucking Jets.
Yep,
that's
and horrified.
Contrarian.
Mm-hmm. I had one more, but
dumpster fire of a matchup.
I want to hear it. Come on,
let's hear it. Come on.
Where did it go? You're gonna have to come back to me, I think.
Wait, hold on a sec. You're looking at the wrong thing, big guy. The Jets are playing the Colts.
Oh, is that the New York Football Giants playing Denver?
Yeah, that's the New York.
Bet them anyway. Same analysis.
No, the Giants are playing the Niners, bro.
What?
Oh, that's next week. I went too far.
That's your that's your WNBA. Card.
Big Cat's out here betting futures. Yeah, I was going to say that didn't sound right to me.
All right, come back to me. You can stick with the Green Bay and the Green Bay money line, and I'll have one more a little bit later. I apologize to everyone.
Apology rejected.
All right.
You are in time. We're putting you in timeout.
Mark the cut point.
Who do the Jets play this week, though?
End scene.
I want to know. All right, here we go. So I actually have 2 all-in best bets. To Derek's point, go ahead to the bank, take out a loan, take out a fucking home equity loan. I don't care. Cash in the kids' college funds if you have one. Guess you probably should. Anyway, so my non-best bets here, though. I like Pittsburgh and Houston to go over 45. That's an over 45 right now. I just think that there can be points scored. Pittsburgh is vulnerable through the air on defense. And even if it's garbage time, those points still count. So I like that over 45. I mean, if Denver and Pittsburgh went over 45, then I think Houston and Pittsburgh will go over 45. That's my rationale there. I like Cincinnati Bengals versus the Eagles. People have not yet figured out that the Eagles are fucking horrible. Like horrible. And since he's getting 5 points. So one of my all-in best bets for the week is the Cincinnati Bengals +5 here in Pittsburgh. I'm also going to hit the money line for a full unit, +180 Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati comes in here and actually wins. Joe Burrow, actually okay. And the Eagles are not very good. They're not good.
The Bengals really aren't that bad.
No, they're not. And Joe Burrow is actually good, like very good. And I think that Carson Wentz, I used to be a little bit of a Wentz defender, and I'm going to have to just fade into the bushes like Homer Simpson on that one. Cause thank God there's not people in the stands in Philly, cause he would get booed off the field. They hate him here. They hate him more than Donovan McNabb.
Their offensive line is horrifying.
The whole thing is horrifying. The whole thing is
just
horrifying.
A really bad team right now.
And their defense is bad too. They used to be able to get away with it because their defense could kind of hold things together, but no more.
Stink
Derek,
fast.
I'm riding with you on the Packers +3.5. I'm also going Packers money line. I agree with you on that one. And then going up to the Pacific Northwest, we have the Seahawks hosting the Cowboys. The Cowboys stink. How come nobody realizes that? The Seahawks are good. So I'll take those. I'll lay those 5 points for the Seahawks. I got Seattle -5. Go ahead and bet that. My all-in top dog best bet. If you were going to bet 10 grand on a game this week, if you're going to bet 100 grand on this game, I would condone it. Tennessee Titans -2.5. Minnesota is fucking horrible. Minnesota's defense is fucking horrible. Tennessee, I mean, they might put up 50 points. Derrick Henry's going to run free. Ryan Tannehill, all of a sudden the greatest quarterback in the league, is going to be able to throw the ball all over the yard. Kirk Cousins is a disaster. 2.5 points. I mean, I would probably bet this up to 10 points. I think the Titans blow the doors completely off the Vikings. This is a no-brainer. I thought the Colts last week was a no-brainer against the Vikings. Is it even more of a no-brainer? Titans are better than the Colts. There you go. Bet the Titans. Bet everything you have on the Titans. Bet it all. Big cat.
All right, since I don't have anything particularly earth-shattering, I'm going to go back to the Cleveland game. I'm going to take Washington +7.
Yeah, I thought about
that. The Browns aren't bad, but just blowing a team out that they're supposed to beat, it's just not going to happen. Maybe it will after this week's performance, and maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it. The Browns are getting a boost with getting at least 3 defenders back. So with that said, I'm also going to take the under. I just think it's going to be an ugly game. I'm going to take the Browns 20, the Redskins 16. And then I'm also going to take the under in the Pittsburgh Steelers game. I don't think Big Ben is clicking yet. And Pittsburgh's defense is just fucking unbelievable. And in Houston, it's all about Deshaun Watson. That's all they got. So I'm going to go under in the Steelers game.
I mean, Jeff Driscoll just put 21 on the Steelers, man.
Yes, he did. Didn't make it look very hard.
So in essence, what you're sitting here telling me is Jeff Driscoll is better than Deshaun Watson.
Yes, obviously.
Okay, I think it's.
I think it goes without saying, doesn't it?
All right, boys. I think we're done here. Mr.
You've
Owen
wasted
Tim up
another
there.
perfectly good hour.
Exactly. All right, that's it. That was an hour, but that was an entertaining hour. I'm proud of us.
I'm entertained.
I'm not afraid
I
to
feel
guess.
great.
I'm not afraid to juice my own tires. That was a good hour. If you guys don't like
that was
it,
entertaining. I will say that.
Smash that subscribe button.
Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you can know when we post our next video.
No one's watching at this point. Who are we kidding?
All right, it's 12:02. I need a sandwich. I'm going to go play golf.
I'm going to go pump a grumpy. See ya.
Bye.